We live in a world where talking is overrated. It's a temptation that exists for everyone, to talk and hype to replace action. The empty text box. What's on your mind? Facebook asks. Compose a new tweet. Twitter beckons. Tumblr, LinkedIn. Our inbox, our iPhones, the comment section on the bottom of the article you just read, blank spaces, begging to be filled up with thoughts, with photos, with stories, with what we're going to do, with the things that we should or could be like, what we hope will happen. Technology asking you, prodding you, soliciting talk. Almost universally, the kind of performance we give on social media is positive. It's more, let me tell you how well things are going. Look how great I am. It's rarely the truth. I'm scared. I'm struggling. I don't know. At the beginning of any path, we're excited and nervous, so we seek to comfort ourselves externally instead of inwardly. There's a weak side to each of us that, like a trade union, isn't exactly malicious, let's say, but at the end of the day, still wants to get as much public credit and attention as it can for doing the least. That side we call ego. We seem to think that silence is a sign of weakness, that being ignored is tantamount to death, and for the ego, this is true. So we talk as though our life depends on it. In actuality, silence is strength, particularly early on in any journey. As the philosopher, and as it happens, a hater of newspapers and their chatter, Kierkegaard warned, mere gossip anticipates real talk, and to express what is still in thought weakens action by forestalling it. And that is what's so insidious about talk. Anyone can talk about himself or herself. Even a child knows how to gossip and chatter. Most people are decent at hype and sales. So what is scarce and rare? Silence. The ability to deliberately keep yourself out of a conversation and subsist without its validation. Silence is the respite of the confident and the strong. Sherman had a good rule he tried to observe. Never give reasons for you, what you think or do until you must. Maybe, after a while, a better reason will pop into your head. The baseball and football great Bo Jackson decided he had two things he wanted to accomplish as an athlete at Auburn. He would win the Heisman Trophy and be taken first in the NFL draft. Do you know who he told? Nobody but his girlfriend. Strategic flexibility is not the benefit of silence while others chatter. It's also psychology. The poet Hesiod had this in mind when he said, "A man's best treasure is a thrifty tongue. Talk depletes us." Talking and doing fight for the same resources. Research shows that while goal visualization is important, after a certain point our mind begins to confuse it with actual progress. The same goes for verbalization. Even talking aloud to ourselves while we work through difficult problems has been shown to significantly decrease insight and breakthroughs. After spending so much time thinking, explaining, and talking about a task, we start to feel that we've gotten closer to achieving it, or worse. When things get tough, we feel we can toss the whole project aside because we've given it our best try, although, of course, we haven't. The more difficult the task, the more uncertain the outcome, the more costly talk will be, and the farther we run from actual accountability. It sapped us of the energy desperately needed to conquer what Stephen Pressfield calls the resistance, the hurdle that stands between us and creative expression. Success requires a full 100% of all of our effort, and talk flitters part of that effort away before we can use it. A lot of us succumb to this temptation, particularly when we feel overwhelmed or stressed, or have a lot of work to do. In our building phase, resistance will be a constant source of discomfort. Talking, listening to ourselves, performing for ourselves is almost like therapy. I just spent 4 hours talking about this. Does that count for something? The answer is no. Doing great work is a struggle. It's draining, it's demoralizing, it's frightening. Not always, but it can feel that way when we're deep in the middle of it. We talk to fill the void and the uncertainty. Void, Marlon Brando, a quiet actor, if there ever was one, once said, "It's terrifying to most people. It's almost as if we're assaulted by silence or confronted by it, particularly if we allow our ego to lie to us over the years, which is so damaging for one reason. The greatest work and art comes from wrestling with the void, facing it instead of scrambling to make it go away. The question is, when faced with your particular challenge, whether it's researching in a new field, starting a business, producing a film, securing a mentor, advancing an important cause, do you seek the respite of talk or do you face the struggle head on? Think about it. A voice of a generation doesn't call itself that. In fact, when you think about it, you realize just how little these voices seem to talk. It's a song, it's a speech, it's a book. The volume of work may be light, but what's inside it is concentrated and impactful. They work quietly in the corner. They turn their inner turmoil into product, and eventually, to stillness. They ignore the impulse to seek recognition before they act. They don't talk much or mind the feeling that others out there in the public are enjoying the limelight and somehow getting the better end of the deal. They're not. They're too busy working to do anything else. When they do talk, it's earned. The only relationship between work and chatter is that one kills the other. Let the others slap each other on the back while you're back in the lab or the gym or pounding the pavement. Plug that hole. That one, right in the middle of your face. That can drain you of your vital life force. Watch what happens. Watch how much better you get. This is an excerpt from Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. You can listen to the audiobook at audible.com by clicking on the link in the description.